Should we make a card today? What should we make? What should we make? Do you want to help? Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Let's go make a card. Oh.
Hello friends, this is Jenna with Brown Dog Craft Company, and today I'm sharing a superhero themed birthday card featuring mainly Mama Elephant stamps and dies. So to start off with, I am going to cut the Mama Elephant Slim comic strip from some white cardstock and again from 2 layers of red cardstock, and that's going to be the base of the card or our card panel. And then I'm going to take the Mama Elephant little superhero agenda and we will add those superheroes to our card. But first we need to work on the background. So I wanted it to be like a nighttime sky with some buildings. So I found Concord and Ninth, their Downtown Stacks dies, have these really cute buildings with like a backer you can put behind them. So it can look like there's little windows in the buildings with the lights on. So I chose various colors of yellowish cardstock for the lights behind the windows, and I adhered the front of the buildings to those little backgrounds, and then I put them under my large clear block there just until the glue set a little bit. So that same Downtown Stacks die set has some cute little trees. The base layer is brown, and then you can cut the top layer in the green there. So I did that for several of the trees, and there's these little building toppers that you can glue on also. So I glued those on a few of the buildings, not all, but just a few. And if it overhung the building at all, I just snipped it off with my scissors when it was dry. Just really cute little touches that make the buildings look realistic. So I'll add all those, and for some of the little trees we're going to pop them up on some foam squares. So there's 3 trees that are flat and 2 that are going to be popped up on foam squares there. And I just cut those from various shades of green. One looks like it might be lemongrass and maybe avocado. And then my black cardstock. I just grabbed cardstock from my scrap bin for most of this card because the pieces are pretty small that you cut out. So now for the background of the card, I want it to look like a night sky. So here I've taped the panels that the slim comic strip die cuts out. I've taped them back into place just to hold them down to make them easier to ink blend with some Easy C pink tape. So here I'm going to ink blend toward the bottom. I will start with Faded Jeans Distress Oxide, and I'll get a nice coating of that. And then at the top, we'll do Chip Sapphire, which is a slightly darker blue, so to intensify our nighttime sky. And I'll blend that in. I'll blend it over the Faded Jeans a little bit, so there's a nice transition there, a nice smooth transition. Oxide inks blend together really well, so you don't have to worry about being super precise when you're adding the ink on your cardstock, because as it dries, they'll blend together as they're drying. So I wasn't too concerned about getting any fingerprints in the bottom of the cardstock there, because I'm going to cover most of that up with the buildings in the background of the card. Now to intensify the night sky even more, I'm taking a little bit of black soot and just adding that to the edges on the darker side of the sky, and then going back and blending a little bit of the blue, just whatever was left on my blending brush. Now Distress Oxide ink is water reactive, so you can add water to it and it will lift some of the color from it. So we are going to do that, But first, I thought it would add to the nighttime sky if we added some clouds. So here I have the Lawn Fawn Cloudy stencil, and I'm using Hero Arts Unicorn ink. It's a white pigment ink, and I will just move the stencil along the card. So even though it's not a slimline stencil, it's super easy to make it slimline. You just sort of line up the stencil where it looks like it would fit and then move it over on your card. So, and as I'm going down, so as I started on the top, I did more intense clouds, and then this middle layer is slightly less clouds, and then the bottom layer is even lighter clouds. And I'm just turning the stencil as I go so that I don't get the same cloud line on each layer of clouds. This background is really versatile. You could do a lot of things with this nighttime sky. So here I am. I'm going to spritz it with some water from my distress sprayer and soak up any of the excess water with a rag. Now, I thought it would be even more fun if this background had some sparkle to it. So here I am taking Lawn Fawn liquid Stardust, and I'm going to shake that up really well. It sort of tends to settle in the bottom of the bottle there. So I'm going to shake it up really well, and I'm going to put this in my splatter box, which is just a plastic box that I can wash out when it gets really dirty, but I don't wash it out very often. As you can see, there's some white paint up there in the corner. So I'm just taking some of that liquid Stardust, putting it on my paintbrush, and then tapping my paintbrush on my clear block to help splatter the card with those golden glitter sparkles. So, and then I'll just take that out of my box and set it aside to dry for just a few minutes. So now here I'm going to take all of the buildings that I made and we'll attach them to each card panel. I'll do one at a time, and one card panel at a time also. So try to keep the buildings within the frame, but if they do hang off any, it's okay. We'll just cut them off at the end. So we'll add some trees along the way, some glued directly to the card, and then the other ones that are popped up with foam tape. Try to alternate the colors of the trees so I don't have two of the same color trees next to each other. And then I'll continue and repeat the same process for the rest of the panels, adding the buildings along the way. And ignore the fact that there's a road there. I was going to use the road, but realized that I needed to adhere that sooner than later. And by the time I realized I needed to adhere the road, it was too late. So maybe next time. But the road is also a Mama Elephant creative cut set. So here I'll just pull out my silicone mat in case any glue squirts out. And then anything that overhangs the little shape, I will cut off with my scissors. So here I'm taking that first layer of the card panel, I guess, and I'm going to glue that onto a slimline card base, which I have on my desk there. There's a score line down the center. It's just a little hard to see from far away. But I'll glue that down right in the center. And then I would probably recommend adding, instead of adding my red panels on top first, I would recommend putting the panels I'm putting in right now, I'd recommend putting those in first, and then putting the red panel on top of it. They were a little hard to squeeze in there. So here I am cutting off the excess. I'll put glue on the back of all of those. Oops, there's a tree stuck to that. Does that happen to anyone else? Do things get stuck where you don't intend them to get stuck? It happens to me all the time. So here I am with this road that I didn't end up using. I'm trying to think maybe I can fit it in somehow. It's really cute, but no, it's all right. It'll have to be for another card. I didn't realize I was slightly out of frame there, so in a minute I'll correct it. So normally I use Barely Arts glue, and my glue went bad. So I'm waiting for my new glue to arrive in the mail. And in the meantime, I'm using the Tombow glue, which works really well. It's just a thicker consistency than what I'm used to for the Barely Art glue. So here, in that comic strip slim die set from Mama Elephant, there's these cute little speech bubbles. So I'm going to add yay and bam. So I will cut out the yay and the bam in white, and then again in red, and adhere the insides of the words with the red, just with some liquid glue and tweezers, because these are real teeny. And here I'll do the same with the bam. And then I sort of picked some of the superheroes I wanted to use from the Mama Elephant Little Superhero Agenda stamp set. So it's really cute. If you're familiar with the Little Agenda figures, they are pretty tiny little guys, maybe a ½ inch by a ½ inch. And they have all sorts of different kinds, everything you can think of. I mean, unicorns and dogs and frogs and monkeys and dinosaurs, and I don't even know what they have. It's so many. But these are little superheroes, and they're not limited to just one animal. There are 5. So there's 4 kittens. I was going to say kittens and kitties, and it came out whatever that was. So there's 4 kittens, 4 bunnies, 4 puppies, 4 bears, and 4 chickens or baby chicks, and then some little sayings. So we're going to use Your Super Duper from the sayings here. So I've picked out the characters that I want, and here I'm stamping them with some intensified black ink from Hero Arts using my Misty. I'll stamp them a couple times. And then I would recommend letting your ink dry for maybe 10 or 15 minutes before you start coloring with your Copic markers. Otherwise, you can run the risk of smearing your ink. So I am going to just do mostly a 2-color blend, sometimes 3 colors, but really, I mean, these are so small, you could probably get away with even a 1-color blend. So I'm going to put out the caps to my markers so you can see what markers I'm using. But I wasn't too picky. It's just really simple coloring for these cuties. So I did 1 bunny there and 1 puppy. And looks like there's 2 kitties and a bear and 2 little chickens. So I'm going to do the orange cat, and I'll add some little orange stripes to his cute face there. I don't have a cat, but I feel like if I got a cat, he would be orange. So I do have a dog, and he's brown, so not as light as the dog in the picture. I guess I don't know why I didn't color it like my dog, but that's all right. These little chickens, I colored a really light color, added some darker orange for their beaks. This other cat, I thought he would look really cute as a black cat. So we'll add some warm grays to him. I'll use warm grays for the bunny too. For the bear, we'll use some E30s. Alright, so now all of the fur of the animals is colored. We'll go on to their little superhero costumes. So I'm starting out with a really light color for all of their pants. I will darken it a little bit later. I think I use a W5, a warm gray 5, to darken their pants a little bit later. But so now I'm just going to try to choose some colors, some bright colors that will coordinate with the colors that I already have in the cards. So here I'm using some blues, some B24 and B29, I think that was. These really, you could really use one color for these. They're so small. B02 and B00 for his cape. YR15 for the Bears shirt. And YR16. G09 for the little chicken's cape. He doesn't have a little shirt on. And G07. And then I'll do G07 for the little bunny's shirt, along with some G03. So I tried to stick to mostly primary colors for this whole card. We'll do the bear's cape in that G03 too. And some R24 and 46 for the cat's shirt. And the cape on that chick. I guess both the kitties have the same shirt. So here's where I'll come with the W3 and darken up their pants a little bit. Now I will take all of the coordinating dies and line these up and die cut them out. But before I do that, I will take a YG63 and just do some speckling on the trees to give them some texture. So they look like they have some leaves on them. So I'm just taking the tip of my marker and dabbing it onto the cardstock. Alright, so everyone is all cut out. Here, I'll flip them over and add, I'll flip them over and add some foam squares, some little foam squares. I think I add 2 foam squares to each little superhero. And then we'll pull the card in and decide where they should go. So I know for below the yay, I want to put someone who looks like they're excited. That little chick looks good there. So I'll just arrange the rest of the characters in cute spots on the card. Put some on the top and some on the bottom. And then once I like where they are, I'll take off the backers on the foam adhesive and adhere those down one at a time. The mama elephant dies for these are a little bit tricky to line up, but it's not too bad. Once you think you have the right die, you just sort of spin it around your colored image or your stamped image until it lines up, and then just use some tape to tape it down. Now, I was thinking that maybe the eyes on the little bears or the little characters, since I colored over them with Copic markers, I thought maybe they needed a little bit more dimension. So I just took a little black pen and colored on the eyes some more. And I added some R00 for some little cheeks to everyone. And then I will take some glossy accents and add just a little bit of glossy accents to all the windows. So it will dry clear. It goes on a little cloudy looking, but it will dry clear. And then to finish off the card, I will add some gold stars in the background. And then fold my card in half, and it's all set. Super cute. I can't wait to give this away for someone's birthday. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye.